Hello and welcome to the Next Gen Racing YouTube channel. Unfortunately, as you can see, there is no Sam today to hopefully give you a few winners, but we've got his nap and second best, which we're going to save till the end of the video, which I'll give you guys. We're going to run through a little preview of Sandown this weekend, of course, highlighted by the Tolworth hurdle, where we're going to see Constitution Hill hopefully consolidate his Supreme Novice hurdle claims. Now, of course, if you haven't already, do check out episode 3 of our Cheltenham Anti-Post series, where you can see who we've added to our portfolio. We have a 66-1 Stayers Hurdle edition and also a 40-1 handicap pick. And another thank you, a big thank you for 900 subscribers. It's great to see you guys enjoying the content, and the more you keep liking and subscribing, the more we'll keep making for them. So yeah, we've been in great form. Without further ado, let's get into Sandown this weekend. The first race I'm going to preview is the 1250. It's the Mayor's Hurdle over 2.5 miles, which is shaping up to be pretty much a two-horse race at the moment. You have Galois at 6-5, Martello Sky is 6-4, Anything for Love is 9-1, Sky Ace is 9-1, and White Hot Chili Filly is the outside of the market at 11-1. Now, I think it's a good little race, but I think it's first and foremost, the first thing to say is the prices look an absolute disgrace. I mean, Galois and Martello Sky, I think, are both a 0.2 short. I'd probably have them priced up at 2-1, 9-4 a piece, and I think the outsiders of the field, you can also make a case for them. I mean, if you look at Galois, she signed off at Punchestown in good style in April with a tidy performance over 2 miles. I think the step back up in trip won't be too much of a problem. Of course, she finished second to Sky Ace at Fairyhouse in the Grade 1 last year. And then, of course, she's coming back from a break. But, I mean, if you looked, she's also won after a 578-day break on her first run over hurdles when bolting up on soft ground. So I don't think that should be a problem at all. Of course, Willie Mullins has his horses in fine form at the moment. And I think Galois looks the one to beat. I mean, if you look at Martello Sky, everyone will know I'm a big fan of Martello Sky. I've backed her on her last 3 occasions, and both of her last wins as well. I think she's an absolutely marvellous mare. I do think the race at Cheltenham last time out may have taken a little bit out of her, and I don't know if 2.5 miles on testing ground is what she'll want. So I think 6-4 is a little bit short. Of course, Indefatigable, who she just beat last time out, was also giving her weight. So it'll be interesting to see how she goes on, but I don't think this is exactly what she wants. Now, if you look at the rest of them, I mean, Chasing didn't work for Anything for Love, and then she bolted up over 3 miles last time out, and Sky Ace, I mean, goodness me, I do love her, but she is on a retrieval mission, isn't she? And I mean, based on her last 3 runs, she'll need some kind of miracle to get back to the form we know she's in. So hopefully Sky Ace can get back to her best. But although I think the race is going to probably work out for Galois, I'm definitely not going to get on at 6-5, and I'll most likely be having a little bet on the outside of the field, which is White Hot Chili Filly, of course. I mean, Lorcan Williams went off at a decent pace last time out over course and distance, and I mean, she went odds on in play. She was travelling an absolute dream about three out. She ultimately found nothing off the bridle. She was carrying 11 stone 13. Off top weight, and I mean, if you look at the form of the race, it's actually working out quite well. Kisses for Katie, who is 4th, or £3 lower than White Hot Chili Filly, has since bolted up by 10 lengths. An Impressive Lady, who was actually behind White Hot Chili Filly last time out, has gone and romped home by 5 lengths. I mean, Sean Bowen's back on board, which I'm happy to see instead of Lorcan Williams. Hopefully he'll be able to sit a little bit further back in the pack. She won this race last year, beating Stormy Island. We know she handles the course and the gruelling conditions, and I mean, 11-1 is the price at the moment. I think she may even drift a little bit with the questions surrounding Galois' fitness, and of course Martello Sky as well. I think 11-1, 12-1 if you can get it, maybe 14s if you're pushing it about White Hot Chili Filly. A small win bet there may not be the worst way to go. Moving on to the 150 now, it's a 2-mile handicap chase, which again looks a very intriguing race, albeit not too many runners. You got the Ollie Murphy train, Gunsight Ridge, who I've been a massive fan of, is 6-4 favourite. You got Numitor 7-2, Moonlighter and Up the Straight are both 13-2 apiece, and you got 9-1 bar those. Now, as I said just then, I'm a huge fan of Gunsight Ridge. I mean, I was a huge fan of him over hurdles. He finished second to Gowell Road in gruelling conditions at Newbury, which I think was the peak of his form over hurdles. I remember watching his hurling debut when he was second to Qualler Smart, and I did think Qualler Smart was actually going to be smart at the time. We've only seen him once since, so it'll be interesting to see if he's any good if he comes back. But yeah, Gunsight Ridge, I mean, it's a very simple case to be made. Of course, finished second to L'Empresse last time out, went 5-1 on in play as well, believe it or not. He jumped relatively well, and then L'Empresse inevitably drew 6 lengths clear, and of course has gone on to win the Dipper since. Now, Gunsight Ridge has only been raised £3 for that, so it's clearly easy to see that he is well handicapped. But the one thing for me is he doesn't like to win. He's only won once, and that was when odds on favourite over hurdles. He's a very consistent customer, finishing second and third on multiple occasions. But I'm not sure he really wants to get his head in front. I think this is almost a penalty kick for him. But there's one in there who I actually think is very well handicapped, and that's Up the Straight, who's currently 13-2 now. He had a respectable campaign last year and has had the 3 runs this year when he bolted up at Plumpton and then been thrown in the deep end on 2 occasions. Once in the Paddy Power Gold Cup when he was beaten 18 lengths off 138, and then when he finished third of 5 in a Grade 2 company at Ascot last time out. Now, he arrives here £6 lower than that run in the Paddy Power Gold Cup of 132, and I think he's definitely worth a go at the minimum trip over 2 miles. He's been running over 2.5. This is a substantially easier assignment than his last 2 runs, and what I like to see is Niall Houlihan's been jocked up. Now, Niall Houlihan has only been on board once when he was claiming £5 at Plumpton when he absolutely hacked up. Now, I think Niall Houlihan's stealing £3. I think he's a class jockey. Of course, that would pretty much put him off 129. I'll be so surprised if he's not well handicapped. He's definitely worth a trip. Worth a go over this minimum trip. So in the 150, I'll again be opposing the favourite, who I think has a great chance in Gunsight Ridge, but I'll be with Up the Straight again with another win bet at 13-2. We then move on to the feature of the day. It is the Tolworth hurdle, where hopefully Constitution Hill will be able to show his class, which he showed over course and distance last time out. Now, I don't really think I need to spend too much time on Constitution Hill. Now, it's clear to see he has bundles of ability and speed, but we don't know all that much about him yet. He got home in some style and drew clear in brilliant start at Sandown last time out. But it must be said, I'm not too fond of the Tolworth as a supreme trial. You look at Metier last year. I know Somerville Boy went and did the Tolworth and Supreme double back in 2018. But I think he'll have to do this in some style if he wants his price to shorten somewhat. If you're looking behind, you've got Jetol and Mr. Glass, who are both stepping back in trip. I don't think they'll be speedy enough for Constitution Hill, but there is a couple who I think may run a big race, and that's all right, Gino, and also the Gary Moore train. Shall we have one more? Now, I think this, first and foremost, will definitely be a no-bet race for me, but that's all right. Gino has done everything asked of him over hurdles. Of course, winning at Fontware and then last time out at Cheltenham. Now, as a in bumpers, he was second to Gelino Bayo, who's finished second to Blazing Carl the last twice at Cheltenham, and second to Mariko Devassi, who has since bolted up on hurdling debut. So the form of that win at Cheltenham, I think, is respectable. It's okay. There was no big margins in it, but they finished at 116% finishing speed, so it was an absolute sprint. If this turns into a sprint, it'd be interesting to see if Constitution Hill can fire away from That's All Right Gino, because he clearly showed he had a horrible jump second last, and even the last he wasn't fluent at Cheltenham, but he still rallied and got the better of JPR1, who I think is a reasonable hurdler, it's fair to say. So it'd be interesting to see how That's All Right Gino gets on. And with regards to Shall We Have One More, now, I visited Gary Moore's a couple of months ago before he made his hurdling debut, and there was murmurs around. One of the stable staff said this guy could be an absolute monster. I mean, that is something you want to hear when you're going over hurdles. I wasn't too sure if they were going to go straight over hurdles, but I mean, they put him straight into Grade 1 company after not even winning on hurdling debut. Now, 2 out, he went about 3 lengths clear and looked like he could be a serious prospect, but he pulled away his chances in the early stage of the races and didn't see out the race. Now, it'd be interesting to see if he does see it out, if he can actually settle. Of course, he's by authorised, he's by Monju, like Goshen, so he's probably a little bit of a nutcase like Goshen. It'd be interesting to see if he hangs at all. Probably won't be a problem round Sandown, of course. And yeah, this is going to be a no-bet race for me. I think Constitution Hill is going to do this quite consummately, but it'd be interesting to see if Shall We Have One More, That's All Right Gino, can follow him home. Now, the 3 o'clock to the Veterans Chase. I'm not going to spend time on the Veterans Chase. I know a lot of people really look forward to them, but I don't have that much success in the Veterans Chase, so I'm not going to try and force it. And I know Sam's nap comes from the Veterans Chase, so do stay tuned for the end of the video if you want to see that. And instead, I'm going to skip to the 3:35, the last race on the card, which is a 2-mile handicap hurdle, more down my street, I think it's fair to say. You got Hermes Boy as the 11-4 favourite. You got Mac the Man at 4-1. Natural History, another Gary Moore trained speciality, 5-1. Volvovka is 6-1, who of course finished second over 2 mile 4 here last time out, and it's 8-1 bar. Now, Hermes Boy, clearly very unexposed and probably is well handicapped of 124, but he'll have to take another step forward. And these unexposed types who have just won well last time out and are up £5, £6. They're not usually my kind of bet to go for. I think he may be a little bit short, and I think he's got it all to prove here. If you look at Volvovka, she ran a great race last time out, over 2.5 miles. They finished 5 lengths clear of third, but I do think that was the same race as well that White Hot Chili Filly finished 6th in. So it looks like a good race at the moment with both Kisses for Katie and Impressive Lady going to win next time out. But I do think this requires another step forward, as Hermes Boy does, of £5 higher. I think £5 is a little bit harsh, if I'm being honest. But it must be said, I do think that there is probably my nap of the day going to come in this race, and that's Natural History for Gary Moore. Gary Moore's horses are on fire. I know Sam is the Gary Moore speciality. He loves the Gary Moore horses, but it must be said they're on absolute fire at the moment. I think 5 to 1 looks an absolutely cracking price. I mean, last year he was rated 132 and sent off as the 2 to 1 favourite for the Imperial Cup, which of course Langer Dan won. He's now rated £14 lower off just another 3 runs. I mean, he hasn't been running very well, it's fair to say. At Sandown Doncaster last time out, he was pulled out of a race at Sandown, at Tingle Creek Day as well, but he's only £2 higher than when hacking up at Plumpton last year. And hopefully, I mean, if he manages to regain any of that form off bottom weight, he's carrying just 10 stone. I think today could be the day where he fires back, and I think 5 to 1 looks a more than fair price. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the naps and next best. I'll start with Sam, the absentee, is hoping into banging a couple of winners, and hopefully he'll be able to do so and continue our decent run of January form, which hopefully we'll be able to continue here. Now, the nap is going to be in the Veterans Chase of the race, which I'm avoiding. It's going to be Wandering Star, who won well last time out. He's priced up at 15 to 2. He's going to go each way, and hopefully he'll be able to continue his ascendancy. And his next best is, of course, going to be the Gary Moore train. Shall we have one more without the favourite Constitution Hill in the Tolworth? Hopefully he'll be able to pick up the pieces from in behind and build on that bumper form which he showed at Kempton. And of course, he's running in the Chris Packham colours of Goshen. So what more could Sam want, hey, than a Goshen coloured winner? And my nap is also going to be a Gary Moore trained horse. It's going to be Natural History in the finale of the day. I'll keep you all clinging on till the end when nothing else goes right, for hopefully Natural History to kind of right the wrongs of the rest of the day. He's only off 118. I mean, he was rated 132 for that Imperial Cup. Hopefully he'll be able to bounce back to some form, and I think 5 to 1, I can't see him going off any bigger. Then 10 to 3, 7 to 2, and I know Gary Moore does love Sandown. The drive there, he said, is a lot easier than Cheltenham, so he doesn't really mind it too much. And the next best is going to be up the straight in the Handicap Chase. I think a mark of 132. It almost looks like a little bit, I don't like saying the 2 words anyway, the plot job. He's dropping back to the minimum trip after the Paddy Power Gold Cup and Grade 2 company at Ascot, and hopefully he'll be able to do the business at 13 to 2 with a little win bet there. And there we are, that's the video all done. It was just a short Sandown preview for this weekend. Again, if you haven't watched our Cheltenham Anti-Post videos, what are you doing? Go check them out now, and thank you again for watching, and subscribe, like if you enjoy the video. We'll be back soon for more Cheltenham content and more weekend previews, and hopefully the odd winner. Thanks for watching.